The other day, I was at a store and I bought some vitamins. I bought some chewable vitamin C's and a bunch of other vitamins. And then I started looking at the label of these vitamins, and it was full of artificial colors. We're talking artificial dyes, reds, greens, blues. And although they are supposedly approved, FDA approved colors, many of these colors, if not all of them, are not allowed in Europe. And here we are buying vitamins from a company that we assume is looking out for our interests to make us healthy or healthier, and they're giving us carcinogens in the vitamins. And it goes further than that. The artificial colors, the artificial flavors, and cough drops. It's really quite disgusting. And now I understand that our government is taking a dim view on Europe, who is really taking a dim view on our genetically modified crops, and they don't want them over there. They're worried about crops that generate their own um, insecticides and crops that can handle all kinds of herbicides and not die, because when they use these excessive amounts of herbicides on the plants, they go into the plant, they go into the fruit that we're eating. You have to understand that the United States ranks like 40 or 50th in the world in terms of longevity. And typically in most countries in Europe, you will live longer than you will in the United States, and yet we're trying to tell them, don't worry about it. You really have to take a look at your foods. One of the things, and I'm a real culprit on, and I'm weak when it comes to Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, I love the stuff, but I know it's not anything fried. I don't care if it's French fries, fried chicken, anything deep fried like that is no damn good for you. And if you eliminate that or minimize it, you're going to definitely increase your chances of longevity and being healthy. Vitamin D is also something that we have overlooked. It's not a glamorous vitamin, but you're hearing more and more and more how people with low levels of vitamin D are coming down with all kinds of ailments. And here we are talking about a health plan, mandatory health insurance, and yet they're not talking about wellness of people in terms of taking vitamins and vitamin D. If all they did was give everybody vitamin D, the amount of sickness, amount of cancer would radically decrease. There's a B vitamin, B17, that's in millet, a grain that you can get very cheap. It pops up almost like was it quiz um, Quizno. It's an arameth derivative. Yeah, quino, something like that. That puffs up. But anyhow, millet is a very nutritional grain that's relatively cheap, and it's got anti-cancer properties with B17, which I think is Laetrile or something in there. Um, we have to really start looking at what we're eating, and I'm no super health fiend. I mean, I don't drink that much. When I was in high school and college, I probably destroyed millions of brain cells, but I've been pretty good since then. I don't smoke. I try to respect my body. It's been pretty good to me. It served me well, and I guess I owe it respect, and try to care for it the best as I can. Um, but you have to understand that a lot of the food that you eat is genetically modified. A friend of mine on Facebook showed me a graph of the percentage of food that's genetically modified, and on the major crops, the grains, the corns, soy, we're talking from 60 to 80%, maybe 85%, maybe 90% in certain things that are genetically modified. Then there's horror stories about in China they genetically modified some trees to have their own insecticides in them, and for the first couple of years the trees did very well and the bugs didn't bother the trees. But in any monoculture, given enough time, the bugs adapt, and pretty soon the bugs just totally ignored these insecticides that were being exuded from the tree, and these insecticides went into the ground and made it toxic. You're talking about people working in the cotton fields now that are coming down with all kinds of allergies just working with cotton because it's no longer, a pure product. It's bad news. And in fact, they can't even send the cattle in to eat the cotton when they're done picking it. That used to be a standard thing to get the nutrition out of the cotton. Send the goats or sheep or something in there and eat the stuff up. Now they'll die. This whole genetic engineering thing by Monsanto. Apparently, there's hundreds of thousands of, let's say 100,000 people in India who have killed themselves because of the fact that they've lost everything thanks to believing Monsanto. These genetically modified crops, they require more fertilizer. The seeds are more expensive. They sign agreements where they can't reuse the seed. So a lot of these people are taking a bath, and here we go. We're the environmentalists talking about this. Some are, but I mean, the whole energy aspect of it, they won't talk about the amount of energy that goes in these genetically modified crops, and they were given carte blanche by the government because they were going to solve the world's problems. Well, over in India, the farmers are bankrupt, and maybe the whole idea is to bankrupt the small farmer and screw him over so that the big people can take over the world. We know that the Goldman Sachs are making money on every transaction when they buy up our debt. When they act as an agent for the Federal Reserve. And the people making policy in this country, either work for Goldman Sachs or will work for Goldman Sachs. I mean, there's stuff going on here that is totally amazing, and I doubt it's going to stop. I remember as a kid people talking about the Federal Reserve. I didn't understand it at all, but I knew it was something evil. But the people who thought it was evil at the time, they were I think they called them John Birchers and stuff like that. But today, these people were right on topic. In fact, I was reading a book on Medal of Honor winners of Korea, and typically it was the Chinese that came swarming down into Korea, tried to take over the whole country with the North Koreans, tried to take over South Korea, and killed a lot of Americans. A lot of brave Americans put up a great fight. But here we are. China's going to eat us for lunch. We've been sold out. It's amazing how all the left-wingers are talking about Watergate, and Dick Nixon, and really, the Watergate was nothing compared to what he did getting China situated with Henry Kissinger, and ultimately they're going to be able to buy the United States. Doesn't seem to bother anybody. It doesn't seem to bother anybody that they are deemed a developing nation, therefore they don't have to abide by the environmental standards. I think they're one of the largest coal users in the world. And if they're so developing, does it make any sense that we're indebted to them? That they're loaning us money? Since when? Since when do you borrow money from a poor country to quote a rich country? We're being fed a real something that is totally untrue. And unfortunately, by the time we wake up, it'll be all over but the shouting. But in any event, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Hopefully you will have enough wisdom to see that you're being screwed by both parties. Just it's like good cop, bad cop. Took me 60 years to figure this out. Hopefully you'll figure it out sooner than that and make a difference. Take care.